Well, hi, everybody. I'm Peter Gordon of New York Financial Organizers, and we're here for another video interview. And this time I'm thrilled to have Laura Olivares of Nothing Forgotten slash Silver Solutions. And Laura and I have known each other as long as I've been in the elder care services industries. And she's been a wonderful colleague, and I'm really looking forward to talking to her today. And how you doing today, Laura?
I'm good. I'm good. I didn't realize that I've known you since you cut your teeth in this. I
That's
didn't.
right. I'm only 7 years old though, so but still, yeah, no, it's been great. And we'll talk a little bit about how we met. So why don't you tell us about Nothing Forgotten slash Silver Solutions?
We'll start with the slash. So, as you know, I am a co-founder of Silver Solutions, Nothing Forgotten. So I should probably clarify. Nothing Forgotten is really where we started. I founded Nothing Forgotten about 20 years ago after a family situation, and we started it in Chicago, moved it to New York, expanded. Things were going great, and about 3 years ago I decided to bring on a business partner. And that's kind of a fib. I've actually been looking for a business partner for a very long time. I knew that I loved what I did. I knew that I was good at what I did to a certain level. And I also knew that I wanted to access more families and give support as much as I possibly could. And I could only get so far on my own. So I'd been looking and been looking, and then I had the great opportunity to be introduced to Dan Lagani, who is now my business partner. Mutual friend introduced us. He, not too long after that introduction, came on as a consultant to Nothing Forgotten. And he, in his spare time, was working with me to develop process procedures. I had already had some, but he is so structured and really great at honing in on the real finances. And we did that for about 6 months, and I saw the value, and he saw the value in working with us, and there came our partnership and roommate.
It's yeah, it sounds like a good fit that you really complement each other's strengths.
Absolutely, absolutely. Look, if I make it through this interview without tears, it'll be amazing. I am filled with empathy and love for our clients. The commitment is there. I built this on, like I said, a family tragedy. So it's in here with me.
Yeah,
And
and the work we do requires empathy
absolutely.
and caring, and we'll talk a little more about that. But that's why I enjoy working with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And the nice thing is, Dan has that level of empathy, but also has that structured financial mind. And so together we have, you'll hear me say, Nothing Forgotten, a Silver Solutions company. So why we have two names is simply because in New York City, we are branded and well known and have been for almost 15 years in the Manhattan, New York metropolitan area. And we didn't want to lose that momentum. But as we expand, we now offices in Chicago, South Florida. We've expanded our reach inside of the New York area. We're now Westchester, Connecticut, Northern New Jersey, and everyone is starting to hear about Silver Solutions. We're still connected. We are the same company. We didn't get bought out. Ultimately, when I can emotionally handle it, Nothing Forgotten will fully transition
Mhm.
to
I
Silver.
gotcha. That makes a lot of
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, yeah. I want to talk a little bit about how we met. You know, we met through the Orion Resource Group. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Orion?
So I have to tell you, Orion was actually introduced to me by a very dear friend of mine who recently passed away, and he had no idea when he brought me in what Orion would end up being for me. He thought, "Oh, great organization, just come and network. I know you like to network." Um, Orion has been tremendous for me. Anytime I can, I tout the great things that it offers. But the best thing that I've gotten out of Orion as a group and as a resource group for older adults filled with all of these great people who do amazing, who offer amazing businesses and services to older adults who need them, is the ability to grow this team that we've talked about, right? So I'll come in, I'll get hired by a family who needs all of these other versions of support, financial support. And they may need a daily money manager, they may need a care manager, they may need home care. Maybe they need to be relocated to an assisted living community and they have no idea how to choose one. Well, we don't do all of those things. We do, however, have access through Orion to be able to build a team around this individual and family to support them through all of those phases. And then when it's appropriate, we step in and we offer our services. So that's the great thing about Orion. And so how many years? 7 years we've known each other?
Well, this is the 7th year, so a little more than 6. But you
Wow.
know what? I always tell my clients that, I'm an expert in what I do. I can help you with your budget and pay your bills and manage your insurance claims. But if you have any other questions about senior care services, please ask me, because I know all the other experts, because they're at Orion. And they're going to be very nice, warm, empathetic people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know me, with the expansion into South Florida, itching to have a South Florida arm of Orion. I think it's naturally happening. We're already introducing New York to Florida, Florida to New York, and I look forward to that expansion when that's possible.
So when early on, we worked with a client that you had met the social worker, and you want to talk a little bit about that?
See, this is where I'll get a little emotional. It was literally the epitome of the team building that we were just describing. I get a phone call from the social worker at a rehab facility. And how that social worker got my name was from a home care company who we've worked really closely with. And okay to give names on these?
Yeah, sure.
So Ariella from Preferred at the time said, "Hey, call Laura. Laura can help. I know that the home is cluttered and needs to be that needs a safe living solution so that this client can be discharged and go home." I show up at the rehab. I have a conversation with this client. She has no one. She has no family. She has practically no friends. Everybody has passed away. She's been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. She knows she has funds. She's not quite sure what she has. She's not sure what she can afford. And before we want to give any services, we want to make sure that she's maximizing her dollars the right way. Focus on the care. So immediately I ask her if she has an elder law attorney. She does not. Because I'm so close with Steve Fleischer, I literally text Steve in the moment, ask him if he has time, get on a phone call, and immediately introduce Steve to this client. They start to build a relationship. I step away while they work on what they need to work on, and then I know Steve brought you in.
That's right.
Because we needed to maximize the dollars. Again, my biggest focus was to make sure, I want to make sure her money gets spent the right way, and it may not necessarily be us. So,
and one of the issues that she had was that she was a hoarder.
yes.
And her apartment was not inhabitable. And so you were working on that. And then when she was released from the hospital, we brought her she took a room at Atria, who was also a member that, right, that was Paul who set that up. And he was a member of Orion. And we also had, because she had stage 4 cancer, we introduced Anthony Sarni of Gutterman's Funeral Service and did a prepaid funeral. So it was a really holistic team of people who helped her truly age, with grace.
Yeah, absolutely. By the time everything was done, she was in her home. She was with her favorite aide. She was able to pass away peacefully. She also got the luxury of staying at Atria West 86 while we were working at her home. So she got to live at a level that she had never had before, that she had never exposed herself too. I remember coming to visit her there while we were working on her apartment to prepare it for her return. And she had her legs kicked over the leather chair and she was snuggled under a blanket and just was enjoying great conversation with her aide. And you could tell it was just a level and a moment that she hadn't really ever experienced before. And that was great in itself.
And when she did pass, she was able to leave a legacy to three wonderful charities, and that was because of Steve and working with Steve and myself. And you did an amazing job of redoing her apartment. Really, really fantastic. Essentially, you were the contractor to take care of that.
Yeah,
It was a beautiful experience.
yeah, it really, see, there you go. Yes, it really was. It really was. And to know that we were able to give her a really graceful and respectful exit. Yeah, that was
So
great.
where are things now with your business? And you could be a little more specific about your services.
Sure. So over the years, we've expanded our services. We actually work with older adults, 65 to end of life, and what that means is our first service that we focus on is creating safe living environments. So safe living is our first solution, and our goal is to enable our older adults to age in place for as long as they possibly can. Maybe that's all the way until they pass. Maybe that's until a health change or maybe a family need changes. Um, we'll go in, we'll deal with anything from an extreme hoarder, like we just discussed, to something as basic as coming in and adjusting the lighting, removing trip and fall hazards, uh, decluttering the minor accumulation that now has become a concern now that mom or dad is in a walker or a wheelchair or maybe even simply using a cane. Uh, we've even come up with electronic solutions so that family members, especially now with COVID, since they can't be together, they now electronically have the ability to see each other.
And I
That
assume that will be growing as time goes on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Right now, we have so many folks who are looking to age in place and still have access to their adult children and other family members, or even some of their friends. So it's not just the electronic solutions, but we are incorporating that. It's not just the trip and falls anymore that we're concerned about. It's really about making sure our clients stay connected because that's another version of their health that we're concerned about. Then we move to the second phase, which is our senior downsize and relocation, where we get the opportunity to work with the older adult if they have capacity and desire, or work with the adult family if they're chosen as the power of attorney to assist this older adult in that downsize. We work with them in making decisions on what should go to the new environment and what shouldn't, and what doesn't gets repurposed, recycled, or redistributed to other family members. Our goal is to keep as much out of the landfill as possible. So whatever we can donate, we do. Whatever can be recycled, we absolutely do. But redistributing to family members is our number one right now. The physical pack, load, unpack, we'll take care of all of it. That's our white glove service. And we will do everything from a basic downsize relocation to an extreme recreation. And we really focus on extreme recreation for folks who have cognitive impairment, visual impairment, because to move someone from their environment is difficult enough. Now, if they have those impairments, they rely on their memory, right? They rely on knowing that coffee cup goes to the left on this side table next to my glasses and my newspaper. So when we set that home up, the new home up, that's exactly how we're going to recreate it. We have some great folks that work for us who have a level of extreme organization and detail, me being one of those folks, so that we can recreate from a large environment to a small environment with still that detail.
That's so critical. It's so important.
Yeah.
I think about when you didn't do this, but my parents moved from Brooklyn to Manhattan to an apartment, and I was away on vacation. And when we came to visit them, I was like, wait, this is the living room that was in Brooklyn. What's going on here? And I didn't get it at the time, and I obviously know now.
So important. I mean, even if we're not being hired, or even if we're just supporting a family, and I'll talk briefly about the select version of our services that's now been implemented. But when we're talking to adult children or folks who are helping our older adults make decisions, I know that the natural thought is to, oh, this is the perfect time to replace everything. This is the perfect time to have everything new. And we will say, this is actually the perfect time not to do that.
Yeah.
You are making such a huge disruption. I know that it's necessary, it's fine, but let's make sure that we hang on to and preserve some of the items that are super important, like mom's favorite chair. Doesn't matter if it's green, doesn't matter if it's the ugliest piece in the apartment. There is no judgment. As long as it is safe and it fits and it's meaningful to mom,
Yeah.
bring it, because we want it to feel like home. Even the sensory, we want it to smell like home. We just want it to be so comforting when mom or dad comes home to their new environment, down to the little throw blanket or the pillow on the couch. We want it to feel as much as the same for them, and that transition. And we talk about the psychological transition all the time.
Great.
And finally, our last service is really where we all began, which is our after death dissolution, where we work with family members to make the difficult decision of what they're going to keep, what they're going to discard, what they're going to redistribute back to family members and donate back into the community. And then we ready that home for whatever's next. Sometimes it's readying it for a new family member to move in. Sometimes it's readying it to give back to the landlord. And sometimes it's preparing it for sale. We'll bring our contractors in, get that home ready, stage, hand it over to the real estate broker. They sell, we finalize the dissolution, and we're done.
That's great. Well, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the interview, but I also want to thank you for something that we did earlier today that you started, and it's a monthly show and tell where we have people from small businesses, often that work with seniors, but not exclusively. And it's been a great opportunity for us to talk about our business, in a very different way. It's not really networking per se. It's more, a learning experience, and it's really fantastic. And I think it's an expression of who you are and how you care for others and want to help and really enjoy being with others, especially, replacing the fact that we can't get together. So that's great. So I really appreciate the time you spent.
Oh, thank you. The idea of show and tell has been something that's been sort of ruminating for a while, and what perfect time to do it. So show and tell is simply an opportunity for business owners and high level folks to come together, and let's really discuss what we're dealing with, what struggles we're dealing with, or let's share about a new book we read, or a new solution, or a new app that we've applied to our companies and we've seen some success in it. Because I think, especially now more than ever, we feel so secluded, right? And I think it's always been that way, but now that we physically can't be together, it's become more and more apparent.
Yeah.
So as business owners, I want us to connect, educate, share, reconnect. I think it's super important. And if you get business out of it, fabulous. But I think what you're really going to get out of it is motivation inside of your own company, excitement, and camaraderie, which I think we all need.
And help,
Oh,
from that
yeah,
camaraderie comes help. That's which we all need.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Laura, thanks very much.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye.